Across 110th Street, a 1972 American neo-noir action thriller directed by Barry Shear, starring Yaphet Kotto, Anthony Quinn, Anthony Franciosa, and Paul Benjamin. Adapted from the novel Across 110th by Wally Ferris, the film is set in Harlem, New York, and takes its name from the titular street, the traditional dividing line between Harlem and Central Park. The film received negative critical reviews upon release for its violent content and perceived unoriginality. However, it is going on to become a certifiable cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
And Vincent's selection for our holiday today here on the Micheaux Mission. Vincent, what say you of Across 110th Street?
I think this film is a mixed bag in a lot of ways. Like there are parts of this film that I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts of this film that I like. And then there are parts of this film that I understand the initial reservations towards it. And frankly, the muted response that it gets when we talk about these 70s films. I think the film starts out with the real kind of narrative high wire act where there's a heist that goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
One of our favorite actors, Paul Benjamin, plays Jim Harris, who he and two other robbers, one Ed Bernard, who is someone that you see pop up,
yep.
And then of course the iconic Antonio Vargas, go to rob a meeting between black mob members and their mafia connects
Yeah.
to exchange money. You know, the black mob is working for the mafia. These three rob them. The robbery goes horribly wrong. And then the film follows two groups, the mafia and the black mobsters, and the police, who the face of the police is old grizzled captain played by Anthony Quinn.
Yeah.
And young grizzled lieutenant played by Yaphet Kotto.
Yes.
And the two of them are trying to figure out what happened.
Right. The two factions.
The two factions trying to figure. And I say this is always a bit of a narrative high wire act because as the viewer, we know exactly what happened. So this is not a film where we can be active participants and try and put together clues and try and figure it out with either group. Like we know.
Yeah.
So what the film is telling us is that we have other aspects of the story that are interesting enough that you as the viewer don't have to worry about these two groups finding out what happens because you know what happened. And these two groups, I think, are interesting in their own right. Like the dynamic between the black mob, headed by another one of our favorite actors here on the show, the great Richard Ward, as Doc Johnson.
Yes. Doc Johnson.
He is connected with Anthony Franciosa, who plays Nick.
Yeah.
Who is the representative of the mafia. And as we mentioned, really good looking guy. But I love the fact that a detail that they speak on, they don't really harp on it that much. He's actually not a mafioso.
That's right.
He married into the family. And Nick looks like a guy that married the daughter of the mob leader. Like, you're not a dude. Like, this ain't really what you built for.
Right.
You just a good looking guy. And now here you are part of this. And this dynamic between Richard Ward's Doc Johnson and Nick and this kind of symbiosis between the mafia and the black mob, where the mafia is in charge, but they understand that Harlem and the black community, like, they need this money. They need this. And certainly during the 70s, you see this play out in a lot of different movies.
Yeah.
This kind of moment where black people are basically trying to take ownership of crime in Harlem and get it away from them. You know, whether we're talking about Shaft or someone mentioned Cotton Comes to Harlem. And I like that part of it. Like, I like that dynamic between these two factions and the way this works. Paralleling with Yaphet Kotto's lieutenant, who has just been assigned in this precinct and is not familiar with Harlem.
Yeah.
But he's a young black lieutenant. He's educated. He's had 2 years of college, as opposed to the older Anthony Quinn's Frank,
Captain,
who has worked Harlem, but he's old school. He's racist. He beats up people, this, that, and the other. But that's also a dynamic. So watching that dynamic, I think, is enjoyable. Then you have the robbers themselves and this community. And you know, between Paul Benjamin and Ed Bernard and just the people revolving around them, I could have watched that for 2 hours. Just the two of them in this hard scrabble Harlem. Much like Anthony Franciosa, I think Antonio Vargas is perfectly cast.
he is.
Because he is playing 1970s Anthony Vargas type, where he is flamboyant, he is loud, he is basically JJ from Good Times.
Yes.
But this is not Good Times.
No.
This is across 110th Street.
That's right.
And a character like this, in an environment like that, is not going to end well.
Nope. No, not being loud like that.
And he does not end well, but then that adds to the gravitas of the whole situation. So, just the story, I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed this story. I enjoyed this narrative landscape. I enjoyed, you know, they would cut from the criminals to the police to the robbers. And I just enjoyed how all of that unfolded, just sort of, again, this environment. I've already said it, now I'll just say it formally. I think it is cast perfectly. I love everyone in this cast. Yaphet Kotto and Anthony Quinn are two grizzled, hard scrabble cops, kind of dealing with each other. Richard Ward, I think, is realistic as someone who is ostensibly in charge of this black mafia, and as they say in the film, has power above 110th Street. But you're also working for the mafia. And that tension, I think, is all in his character. Again, Paul Benjamin, I am sure I've seen Paul Benjamin better than I've seen him in this film. But I think this might be the meatiest role that I've seen him. Like, oftentimes he's a character actor, he's a side actor, but this was a real opportunity for him to be in the foreground. And I thought he really captured, you know, we joked at the beginning, this sort of systemic racism and how people are funneled into bad choices and worse choices. And, you know, he talks about, you know, I'm an ex-con, I don't have an education, I don't have any, you know, I don't know a trade. He has epilepsy. Like, you talk about 3 strikes, he got like 14 strikes. And this is him just trying to figure out how to make his way in the world. And this overarching, again, just kind of grittiness, I thought was refreshing for someone who loves these 70s films, like these kind of blaxploitation films. And like, there's nothing flashy about this. As I mentioned, this is a real scruffy cast. Like this is a scruffy cast. Like, there are no good looking people in this cast
except Anthony Franciosa.
Anthony Franciosa and Gloria Hendry is Gloria Hendry, but you only see her for 30 seconds, and in them 30 seconds you see she's getting roughed up. But again, I thought that was really refreshing for a time period that we talk about the flash and we talk about the sheen, and if we're talking about the Richard Roundtrees and the Fred Williamsons and the Calvin Lockharts and the
Ron O'Neal,
the Ron O'Neals and the I just forgot Jackie Brown's name.
Pam Grier.
The Pam Griers and all these amazingly good-looking people.
Yes.
There are no amazingly good-looking people, but that lends a realness to it. Having said that, I do understand people not warming to this or this resonating with people. I do think that so much attention is paid to the landscape and the environment. There's never really a protagonist in this film. For Yaphet Kotto and Anthony Quinn to be these mismatched detectives, there's not a lot of story hung on them.
Not a lot of scenes.
Not a lot of scenes hung on them. Paul Benjamin and his two compatriots who have robbed these mobsters, not a lot of story with them. Even my beloved Richard Ward and the black mob and the white mafia.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of story. So that I do think that there is a critique of this film that there's no there. Like, there's nothing there for me to kind of hook my way into. Like in a lot of ways, I always say, and I think I've said this about Shaft, like, my favorite part of Shaft is the environment that Shaft goes through.
Right.
And like, in a lot of ways, I don't even need Shaft.
Right.
I just need
that world.
The world. But you do need Shaft. Like, you do need a guide. You do need a point of view. You do need a perspective. And without that, it just sort of is there. It's almost a tone poem.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. But again, I don't know if I'm ready to call this a hidden gem.
No, I agree. Because you're right. There is the setting of it, the world building of it is beautiful. 1972, I think blaxploitation is just really starting to rev up. So it's important to point out that Anthony Quinn, decidedly the star of this film. He is the name. First on the call sheet.
Right.
And he is an executive producer on this movie. This is blaxploitation in genre only.
Yeah.
This really is a major motion picture, MGM motion picture release with Anthony Quinn starring in it. The cinematography, the directing of this is top-notch movie making for 1972.
Yeah, I need to talk about the direction. Go ahead.
So you want to highlight that immediately, which means that now you've got all of these black actors who have a moment to shine. You're talking about this being one of the more meteor roles that Paul Benjamin has. This is probably one of the meteor roles that Richard Ward has had in films as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yaphet Kotto was still young in his career at this time. So for him to be standing next to Anthony Quinn in this film is like it's saying something, right? All of them are saying something. Anthony Franciosa has been a character actor for a little bit of time at this moment, but he definitely stands out. He stands out in this film. But with all of them there, you don't know, where am I supposed to be putting my allegiance? Who am I supposed to be following? Right. You talk about the robbers who start the film off with this botched heist, and then after the heist is done, then you learn their backstory of all of them, and their backstories are interesting. You don't learn much of Antonio Vargas because he's not long for this world, but you kind of saw the writing was on the wall. But especially Paul Benjamin's character, you learn so much more about his backstory and his world and his relationship with Norma Donaldson, his girlfriend Gloria, that you want to become invested in them, right?
Yeah.
And the film, it takes time to return to their world a little bit, to just like give you a peek into what's going on. But you want to kind of lay there for a little bit. But it's so quick to, we've got other characters we got to feature. And then in the world building of it, building up the world of crime in Harlem, because you talk about the numbers runners, the black numbers runners, that gang. You talk about the mafia with Anthony Franciosa. You spend a bit of a time at a birthday party.
Yeah.
For the Italians, right?
Yeah.
You're like, where are we? We're on the other side of Central Park for a good bit of time to get into this film. But there's so much time spent building up that world and building up Antonio Franciosa, because you said, like, yes, he doesn't look like he belongs, but he's of this world.
Right.
And he seems to be a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah.
In how he gets down, because he's dressed to the nines. You expected him to be kind of the one pointing his thugs. No, he's getting in there with his hands.
Well, I think he's overcompensating. Well, like, he's clearly overcompensating.
I think
because he's a pretty boy.
I think he's overcompensating, but I also think this is part of his makeup, and probably a little bit of the reason why, like, he's of the family, but he ain't in the family, because he maybe a little bit of a loose cannon, right? But the movie spends time building that up, that you forget for about good 20, 25 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. Where are Anthony Quinn and Yaphet Kotto?
Right.
You got to catch up with what's going on over there. And then, mind you, you're catching up with them as they're trying to figure out what happened. Anthony Franciosa is so busy just knocking off people, but he's knocking off people because the black gang, the numbers runners, they've got a dude who's playing detective on their side.
Right.
And he's a better detective than Yaphet Kotto and Anthony Quinn.
I was going to talk about
maybe it's because
that.
he's throwing some money at it, but he actually is following clues.
Yeah.
He is the one that is running down this situation.
Put a pin in that. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, so much of that is going on. You don't know who to hang your hat on, and just kind of like, and I don't think the movie knows. Right. And that's to the detriment of this film. And I'm watching Paul Benjamin, and you're right, this is probably one of his media roles. Paul Benjamin has always had, to me, and he definitely is right there, at this time. His contemporaries are, not Yaphet Kotto, he's a little younger, but his contemporaries are Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte. Those are his contemporaries, right? Moses Gunn, those are his contemporaries. But he's always struck me as having like a little bit of different energy
to his
acting. And I wrote down in my notes, it's akin to Christopher Walken.
Yes.
Christopher Walken is always just doing something
like a little off.
Yeah. And that's Paul Benjamin.
Yeah.
He's good, but it's always just a little, right? And here, that is like, you want it. Because like, he's the leader of the gang that pulls off this heist. Yet he seems to have this truly affectionate relationship with his girlfriend. He's dealing with all of these issues of insecurity in his head, the health issues and everything that he's got going on. He decidedly did not want anyone to die, yet he damn near is a serial killer by the end of the film.
Yeah.
I just wanted to live in his world. Like, across 110th Street, for me, could have easily just been him pulling off this heist on the numbers runners, and the numbers runners tracking him down.
Right. You didn't even need the police.
I didn't need anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't need the mob. I didn't need the police. I didn't need Anthony Quinn, just beating up witnesses. I didn't need Yaphet Kotto acting like he gives a damn. I didn't need any of that. Just give me Paul Benjamin and the numbers guys, Doc Johnson. I'd have been happy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's 80 other people in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. It's funny. I've read a couple of reviews where they talk about there's this commentary on corrupt police and policing tactics, and I do think it's there.
It's there.
It's there. Like you said,
Anthony Quinn.
Anthony Quinn has taken bribes, and there's a dirty cop at one point.
Yeah.
And Anthony Quinn's beating up on people. But I think the greatest critique of policing is what you said. Doc Johnson's right-hand man is a better detective than the police. Like, they have these two parallel scenes where at one point Antonio Vargas has bought this car that was used in the heist, and they hunt down the owners of the car that sold it to him. Anthony Quinn beats up the husband into unconsciousness, and then they kind of lampshade it where Yaphet Kotto's character is like, Anthony Quinn's like, my methods work, and Yaphet Kotto's like, he's unconscious, he can't tell you anything,
He ain't saying nothing.
And then the very next scene is Doc Johnson's
right-hand
man talking with the wife, and he's just talking with her, and like you said, he gives her money for her time. But he gets results. And it's so funny because when you have these dual investigations, Doc Johnson's crew is always a step ahead because they know this world.
Yes.
They know how to talk to people,
Yes.
This, that, and the other. I did want to mention Barry Shear. You talked about this being an MGM production. I liked the direction in this film. Like, there were several scenes that I thought were really, really well done.
Absolutely.
The heist, there's the heist. There is the
escape from the heist. Is really
the escape, the party that you're talking about with the mafiosos. There's the scene where they actually find the getaway car and they pull it out of the water. All of these scenes have no dialogue. And it's just the direction and the acting. Like, during the heist, there's this wonderful moment where all of the actors are looking at each other and looking at the guns and looking at the money. And it's just great. And then there's an amazing shot that actually reminded me of not Nothing Like a Man. What's our other movie?
Oh, what?
Not No Way Out.
I know what you're talking about. I can see the cover.
Anyway, Paul Benjamin is at the bottom of a stairwell, and apparently he's a landlord. And it's shot from the top of the stairwell that's in a spiral.
Yes.
And he looks like he's in a trap. Like, he actually looks like he's in a rat trap. And I said, whoa, that is a great shot.
Yeah.
And you have these moments throughout the film that, I think that's a very good point that you made. This is not a by the numbers blaxploitation film. And you can see it in the production values.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's right there. I'm trying to find that movie because I know exactly what you're talking about. But here it is. Uptight.
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 Uptight. That
Yeah.
shot reminded me
Yep.
of Uptight.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, I remember that shot, and I remember thinking that great piece of storytelling done there with like all of the tenants
All
screaming
leaning
down.
over, and he's
Yeah.
down at the bottom in the forced perspective, and you know, completely unnecessary.
Right.
Like, you doing a lot, Barry. Like, you don't got to do all this. But I guess he's like, well, they gave me the equipment.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And that's the scene that if this movie gives Paul Benjamin a little bit of more room,
Right.
he eats that scene
Yeah.
because it's a great scene.
Yeah.
But you're out of it so quick. You're like, yeah, no, I want to stay here with this dude.
Right.
Because that's another thing that you learn about him.
Right.
Like that he's like the handyman at this tenement.
Right.
You know, I was like, wait a minute. You know, I mean, oh man, it's to have such a great title for a film,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to have such a great music,
Yeah.
Bobby Womack killing it, to be on a film that has so many missed opportunities in it. The direction is good. The violence is hard.
But it's violence.
But like you said, the truth of the matter is, and people don't want to maybe recognize it, especially now in the 21st century when you go to Harlem, and Harlem is nothing
Right.
like what it was in 1972. This is Harlem.
Look, it was hard scrabble.
It was hard. It was hard. Some people say, it's what they want you to see. No, this is Harlem.
Look, there's a moment where again, the third, we talk about Antonio Vargas, we talk about Paul Benjamin. Ed Bernard's Joe, who works at a dry cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell he's sort of just gotten pulled into this. Because again, I do think that the other thing that this film shows is that this is a group of people that have bad choices and worse choices. But there's a moment, and I appreciated them taking a beat where he talks about how the botched robbery and all of the death that came from it bothers him.
Yeah.
Like again, this is not Jim Brown murdering 13 people and then making sweet love to a blonde-haired white woman.
Right.
Like these are people.
Right.
That this is like, I'm not a robber. I just got like, I just had to do this because I didn't have like an opportunity to do nothing else.
Right. And I joke that Paul Benjamin becomes like a serial killer at the end, but there are forces that move him.
Look, they actually like again, back to that wonderful shot, which is like foreshadowing. They actually corner him like a rat.
Yes.
And it's that great sequence.
Yeah.
Where he is scrambling and desperate.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that his lady gets killed, and it's like sort of like you don't even see it happen.
I know.
You just see her body.
It's treated very matter of fact.
Because this is just where we are. I'm not going to say I disagree with you about the violence. I like the way the violence is handled. Where apparently they tortured Antonio Vargas' character, but it happens off screen.
That happens off screen.
When there is violence, it is not stylized. It is not sexy.
True.
It is nasty and mean.
That is true. That is very true.
Again, whether we're talking about Joe saying, I'm thinking about that violence, or even your man, the psychopath, there's a beat where he looks at his fist and he sees all the blood on it. Where again, I don't think, I'm gonna keep saying it, like he the pretty dude that married the Godfather's daughter.
Yeah.
So, There's that too, but I do think you're right. I think it's a lot of pieces, but it's nothing that really holds it together.
I know.
As a sort of cohesive unit.
Yeah. It's funny. I was reading in the backstory. Anthony Quinn, as the producer, actually didn't want to do the movie. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to be the star.
Sure.
He didn't want to be the star. He wanted Kirk Douglas,
okay,
or John Wayne to be in this film. To be honest, I maybe could see Kirk Douglas, not John Wayne.
I think Kirk Douglas looks like an actor.
Well,
like I think the thing that I love about this, like Kirk Douglas is kind of, even in the 70s, he was kind of Hollywood good looking.
Well, to be fair, he actually wanted Kirk Douglas, and I think he had hoped Sidney Poitier would play the Yaphet Kotto role. So he was going for Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in wanting Sidney Poitier, once he was cast, he still wanted Sidney Poitier, but there were other forces that told him, I think like some other producers told him, like, no, he don't look like Harlem.
Right.
He's not the right look.
Right.
You need Yaphet Kotto.
Right,
And they
right.
talked him into Yaphet Kotto.
Right.
And of course, Yaphet Kotto was a good choice. I think Yaphet Kotto, the shame of it is that I think he's underutilized.
He's 100% underutilized. It's funny, I actually put in here, he's a scrappy Virgil Tibbs.
Yeah.
Like you can see they're kind of
you see they
going
wanted there
for that. But again, I love the fact that he said, I've had 2 years of college. Like I'm a cop. Like he's not the Virgil Tibbs, Sidney Poitier, nothing out of place and super manicured and everything. And John Wayne just is not a good actor.
Well, no, not at all.
Like you gotta let John Wayne do John Wayne stuff, but
Well, he would soon. John Wayne would soon make his way to the inner city with McClintock.
Yeah, with Scatman Crothers. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a weird movie.
Well, okay, I will take your word for it.
It's a weird movie.
I long ago, after learning some stuff about John Wayne's personal life, sworn off John Wayne movies.
Look, I don't know how,
and I never really liked him that much in the movies.
I don't understand how you draw these lines with these old ass actors, and all you watch is old. Like everybody in your movies are racist and anti-Semites. Everybody you watch is racist and an anti-Semite. You know who isn't though? Anthony
Quinn.
No, Anthony
Franciosa.
Yeah, you saw he marched with Dr. King.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't an anti-Semite.
But besides him,
Anthony Quinn wasn't.
Not Anthony Quinn. I mean all your people on TCM.
First of all, Anthony Quinn is on TCM.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
and not all my
like Wuthering Breath of Wind.
Shut up.
Everybody in that film is an anti-Semite and a racist.
Gregory Peck was not.
Okay.
It was not racist.
Okay. How you feel about Jewish people?
He wasn't anti-Semite.
Okay, all right.
Anti-Semitic either.
I'm just asking.
He wasn't. Katharine Hepburn wasn't. Spencer Tracy wasn't.
Okay, all right. You right about them too.
I could go down the list. Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, Billy Wilder.
I think Cary Grant was passing. No, not Cary Grant. I think Clark Gable was passing.
Was passing?
Passing. Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah, Cary Grant. All right.
And I'm not the biggest Clark Gable fan either.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know much about Clark Gable except for Gone with the Wind.
Jesus. Burt Lancaster was not anti-Semitic. Tony Curtis wasn't anti-Semitic. Jack Lemmon. A whole host of them.
You are naming a bunch.
Yes,
you are naming a bunch.
There's a few,
and you keep naming them, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Now,
he's cool. Yeah.
Now, John Wayne, Walter Berry. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't
there's
know
a
who
bunch.
Walter Berry is.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
There's a bunch.
Okay.
Some of the before Drew, the other Barrymores. Yes. So yes, there's more than a few, but no, Humphrey Bogart, no, Lauren Bacall, no, they were right there. So
not racist,
not anti-Semitic,
not anti-Semitic. Right?
No.
trying to think of a John Wayne movie. What's the big? Not High Noon.
That's what's
the?
That's Gary Cooper.
Wait,
I don't know
is
about
that
Gary
him in The
Cooper.
Searchers?
Yes.
I like The Searchers. You don't like The Searchers?
No. I don't like John Wayne. I don't think he. The one movie. The one.
When he's got a pocket.
The one John Wayne movie that I would always cape for, and now I just don't rewatch.
Yeah.
Was Rio Bravo, and that wasn't even because of John Wayne.
That's because of Dean Martin.
Because of Dean Martin
And now we're back
Angie
to,
Dickinson.
And now we're back to Dean Martin.
Yes, not an anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
Dean Martin.
No,
now,
not at all.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't like Frank Sinatra.
And you don't like Frank Sinatra. Yeah. Yeah, so I like Rio Bravo and I like The Searchers. I might be done.
Do you like True Grit? Because he's in the original True Grit.
I like True Grit.
I like the remake more.
I like True
Why?
Grit.
Because there's no John Wayne.
Because it's no John Wayne, and that's true. John Wayne's not.
And I think the redo is better.
I've not seen the redo.
Oh, you would love it.
Okay.
You would love it, Vincent. You would absolutely love it.
Okay.
You'd love it. The Big Lebowski's in it.
Yeah.
The dude.
I do like the dude. All right.
Well,
John Wayne was not in Across 110th Street.
No, he was not. Thank God. But would you recommend that people see Across 110th Street?
You know what? Even with my reservations, I still would. I think there's more good than not in here. I think there are really, really strong performances. I think I think it's an interesting story. Like I said, it doesn't really have a strong narrative through line.
Mm-hmm.
I think the direction is good.
It is good.
Teetering on very good. So I would. And you?
I'm going to land on that I would recommend it. For some of the reasons that you pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, primarily because I think this is the film that gives Paul Benjamin his biggest, like, the most to do.
Yeah.
He's good in other stuff, and you're right. He probably is technically better in other stuff, but he has the most. He carries a lot of the story.
Yeah, this is a robust role for him.
And I think you'll watch this movie wanting more of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is a benefit of the film.
Right. It's funny you said he had Christopher Walken energy. Would always think of, like, there's a vein of black actor from this period, like, you know, your Paul Winfields, your Moses Gunns, that, like, in the 80s and 90s when Star Trek was trying to show how progressive they were,
to show up.
They always would show up as like admirals or people who would, like, give orders to Kirk or to Picard. And, like, you can't, I don't really see Paul Benjamin in one of them uniforms.
No.
Coming up on the view screen.
No.
Talking about Picard, you come back to Starbase. Like, he doesn't really give authority energy.
See,
like Paul Winfield does.
No, but you know what?
Or Moses Gunn.
At the same time you say that, though, I could see, particularly in Next Generation, Paul Benjamin having...
It's like a rogue and admiral?
No, not at all. I could see him as a Klingon.
Why you gotta put a black man in that makeup?
Well, first of all, it wasn't just black men that were getting in makeup.
Okay.
And second of all, because that's a myth.
I know.
And second of all, Klingons could be very operatic.
Yeah.
And I could see him leaning into that. Yeah. I could see Paul Benjamin leaning into that. You know, like, pick up your paddle. I could see him leaning into that, man.
All right.
And having some fun.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So I would recommend Across 110.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
Another Christmas. Another heartwarming. He gave all the money away to the kids at the end when he got shot down by the police.
First of all, wait a minute. About that scene. He throws the movie over. He looks over the because he's on a rooftop.
He's on a rooftop.
The last 10 minutes of this movie, we're on the roofs of Harlem.
Right.
He looks out over the rooftop. You see kids playing in the playground.
Sure.
It's about 20, 30 kids playing in the playground.
Sure.
He throws the money down.
Yes.
It hits.
Yes.
All you see are adults. The kids are gone.
That's right.
It's just adults going for the money. I'm like, where did all of they come from? Where are the kids?
Well, they were watching it all unfold. They were watching everything unfold. Which way is this going to go?
The kids were going.
Right.
Like, I wanted to see kids running around with the money. But no, it was all the adults.
All the adults.
That was a shame.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. All right.
All right.
That is our review of Across 110th Street.